small business owners. Welcome to another episode of Small Business Radio Detroit, where we transform everyday struggles into breakthrough strategies and we remind entrepreneurs that their story is their superpower. So, on today's episode, for anyone who has ever felt like their bank account didn't reflect their brilliance, okay, math ain't mathing, you know what I'm talking about? Or anyone who's essentially been working hard but still can't seem to get ahead financially, we really want you to join us today for a powerful and purpose-filled episode with Stacie Ford. She is a financial coach, an educator, a speaker, and the founder of Divine Wealth Solutions, okay? That is Divine Wealth Solutions. So she's more than just a budget whisperer, right? She is a financial healing specialist who is turning the way that you look at money and changing that from the inside out, right? So she is helping us to break those generational cycles, to take back control of our money, and to walk boldly in our divine assignment, okay? Because we ain't got time to be worrying about the bills when we're trying to do the work. So through her coaching programs and unapologetic transparency, she guides her clients through that mindset shift, money mastery, and marketplace ministry. So her message is very clear. Where your finances are in divine order, your purpose becomes unstoppable, okay? So if you're tired of playing small, if you're stuck in scarcity, or if you just need a fresh financial perspective, you are in the right place. So let's get into this real, raw, and transformative conversation with the divine millionaire herself, Stacie Ford. Let's get into it. Good afternoon, Miss Stacie. How are you doing today? I think you're on mute, honey. Yeah.
Hi,
You are. Hi, how are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
Oh, I'm great. And I'm excited to be talking to you because I'm going to tell you one thing is for sure and two things for certain. There are many hats I could wear in this life. Accounting and financial management is not my strong suit. So I'm happy to have you on for my sake today.
Well, listen, it is not something that I started off in. This was not my plan. This is I fell into this in a, like they say, things happen divinely
Yes.
when you need them. This
Yes.
is how I got into this. This wasn't a plan.
Yes. Well, I'm excited, and we're going to get into learn more about the woman with the plan, right? The woman
Mhm.
who came in who didn't have a plan at first, but now you've got it together, and you're helping other people to really craft that real strategy, financial strategy that's customized to their lifestyle and really helping them to transform the way that they think. Because, I mean, this episode, we're really focusing on how financial healing is really that first step to freedom, right? How we can continue to break cycles and build legacy. So, before we get into the meat and potatoes and what everybody wants to know, let's first get into your story. So, walk us through your journey. You said that it was so divine how you got into this space. So what made you decide to be a financial coach, or I'll say a financial strategist, in my opinion? Yes.
Thank you. I like
Yes.
that. I'm gonna take that. I'm a
Yes.
financial strategy,
Please.
darling. I'll use that. So, hi everyone. My name is Stacie Ford. I am delighted to be here. Thank you so much for having me. It's a privilege, and I'm so grateful. You are amazing at what you do. So when you asked me to come on, I was like, oh yes, of course.
Thank you.
So, to get in a little bit about me, I kind of fell into finance. So let me back up a little bit how I got here. So I'm a registered nurse by trade. I started off as a nursing assistant, put myself through nursing school, became a licensed practical nurse, which is the LPN, and then I climbed up and ended up being my RN and my bachelor's in nursing. And so I wanted to be a nurse since forever. That was my dream and that was my goal. That was what was on my vision board for years, and it came to. And so 18 years in the game, and I ended up with a neck injury, a neck and a back injury that started off as something that was just supposed to be kind of manageable, physical therapy, that kind of thing. Let's see if it gets better. And it got worse. And long story short, it ended my nursing career. I ended up going through a couple of surgeries um, without any real relief from what I was going through, and I ended up on disability. And this was before I hit 40. This was like age 37, 38-ish. And this wasn't something I planned for. I put all of what I had known into becoming a nurse. I'm a full-time mom, full-time wife, and it was just like, okay, what am I supposed to do now? And in that process, I realized because I didn't have an income, my income completely changed. You know, you go from making, everybody say nurses make great money. To me, it's good money, but for
Right.
what we do, it wasn't enough. But
Yes.
I went from a certain income, I was at six figures, and then I was on disability. So that was a big change.
Yes.
And so during that process, I was looking at my money and I was realizing I really ain't have it together. Like I've been working and doing all the things and, paying some bills and looking good and going on the vacations, but my money was not like it should have been.
Right.
And it wasn't something that was a surprise to me. But when you don't plan for things like this, life is gonna happen, right? You don't
Yes.
know. And so when you hit with a financial disruption and a medical disruption that keeps you from working, you got to make some changes. And so I was looking at things and I was like, okay, I put some money in my 401k, but it's not nearly enough. And I end up having to take some out of that. And it was just like a lot of things. I was looking at my credit and I was like, oh my God, like, what have I been doing all these
Yes.
years? Like, I
Yes.
really like was hard on myself, really, really hard on myself to the point I became suicidal because it was like my
Oh, wow.
doctor told me, well, you can't work anymore. And I was like,
Right.
okay, you telling me I can't work, I'm bedbound, like what? And it happened so fast. It happened within like a year's time of me getting surgery and all that. So I really didn't have any time to prepare for it. So I really started looking at how could I get myself together because my husband and I both work. We're a two income household. And I was just like, we used to live in a certain lifestyle and being able to be okay in our kids and have certain things for our kids. And I was really looking at for my kids. I had a daughter who was getting ready to come out of high school. So
Okay.
I'm looking at, okay, I did put some money up for her college fund. Okay.
Right.
But, things come up. She might need something for this. She might need something for that. I was
Exactly.
just like thinking about all the things. And so I really kind of started looking at, well, I really don't know much about money. I really don't. Like, I learned some things from my mom. I learned some things to pay my bills on time was
Right.
the thing. Pay your bills. And it wasn't even just on time. It was pay your
Just
bills.
paying bills. Right.
So, right, just pay the bills. And so I didn't even know how to do a budget really. I didn't really know how to manage my credit. I was just getting by like a lot of people. I was save. I was inconsistent with saving. Just all, just all the things that we all do because we only know what we're taught, right? And
Right.
to think about money, this was a thing that I really learned. I was embarrassed to say that I didn't know.
Right.
And it was like, okay, because that's the thing about the society we live in. When it comes to money, it becomes a stigma that people become embarrassed if they don't have it,
Yes.
if they're not in a good position with it. And so I got, it was like a pivotal moment for me. It was like, okay, you got to do something, but you have to be able to be humble enough to say, I don't know anything about this and I need to start figuring it out.
Yeah. So
And
was it almost like you were sort of unlearning old types of money habits or money focused beliefs, kind of like revamping the way you thought about money, essentially?
eventually I did, yeah,
Yes.
because it kind of that awakened in me that I needed to scrap everything that I knew because obviously when I look at it on paper, it ain't working.
Right.
And I need to really tap into what this is for real. I can't get away from this and I need to figure this out because now things have changed in my household. I need to have a better grasp on this.
Yes.
And so I had got a letter during this time I just started some reading. I got a letter in the mail that my life insurance and my policies from my job were ending because I was no longer a employee of theirs. And so I was like, shoot, I got to get some of that and I got to get some of this. And I was online and I seen a nurse that I knew was talking about life insurance. So that's how my journey started into finance. I got my life insurance license because I was really curious about it. I
Yes.
got a policy through her, really affordable. And I was like, I can manage that while I'm not working. It's okay.
Yes.
But I want to know more about this because I don't know. I had a policy through my job. It came with the benefits. I didn't know how it worked. I don't know if it's something happened to me, the job would take care of, but I didn't have that backup anymore. So I had, my mother had a policy on me, and I just didn't know about life insurance for real.
Right.
So it started there, and I became really curious about other things in finance. Okay, so I got my life insurance license. Then I got licensed in investments because I have been looking at my 401k and now I'm looking at stuff and I want to know how it works now because I really want to understand it. So I got that. And so from there, I thought I was really comfortable. I was like, okay, well, I know something. But I was starting to pay attention to how I still manage my money. And something triggered me. I went to pay a bill and I had so much anxiety about it. I was like nervous and I was like, why am I nervous? The money is in the bank account. Like,
Yes.
right. And I paid attention to that. And I said, you know what? That I kind of get that feeling whenever I got to do something with money.
Right.
Whenever I got to pay a bill, whenever I got to take care, whenever me and my husband would have to have a financial conversation, there was tension around it. And
Yes.
that really was like, this is more than you just knowing this. You got to figure out why are you so uncomfortable because the uncomfortableness is what has triggered you to make the poor decision. And it
Yes.
kept you stuck from making certain decisions. It kept you thinking, you know what, I would get, I gotta put some extra money to the side. So then that would keep me from people putting the money to the side. It was all correlated. And I was
Yes.
like, there's something to this. So then I started studying psychology of money and how that works. And it's so funny because in our community, that's
Ye-
not something we hear about. You
No.
don't hear about money psychology. You hear about you need to be good with money, and you thinking, well, I'm not good with numbers. Money is way more than numbers
Yes. Oh,
because it
yes. It's
starts at the
strategy.
mental level.
Yes. Yes.
And so when I started really paying attention to that, I started getting books and I started reading, and it was like boom, light
Yes.
bulb.
Just went off. Yes. So with
It
that,
went off.
you know,
Yeah,
it was like, I love that because it's literally like number one, you didn't have a choice but to engulf your whole self into that problem, right? Because it was a problem you had to fix right away. And as entrepreneurs, as small business owners, one of the key things that makes a business strong is when you are obsessed with the problem. When you are obsessed with the problem, you find way more deeper, comprehensive, and innovative ways to solve the problem because you have learned so much about that problem. So
yeah,
I really love that about your business. It's not like, hey, let me just tell you how to manage your money because I'm wealthy and it looks like I have it all together when really on the back end, I'm really broke. You know, all
yeah.
all of this stuff is really for rent. I don't own
Yeah,
no
no, this is for real.
assets.
I had to go through this thing for me to be able to tell
Yes,
you about this thing. And
yes,
it was a natural unfolding for me because it was
yes,
something that I needed to get to fix for myself.
yes,
And then once I really got it, I was like, you know what? This is the thing.
yes.
This is the thing. Like when I really got the mental together, my stress level around money was like,
Was yeah, yeah. I'm sure a lot of us, especially listen, talking about money in the today with the economy the way it is, with inflation, with everything happening up on the upper head, all the funds and everything being cut. There's no time better than now to get strategic and get serious about money. So what I want to find out from you, because we're getting deep into the conversation here. When you think about financial healing, right?
Mhm.
What does financial healing mean to you? And how is that different from like just traditional budgeting or coaching methods?
Financial healing for me is getting to the roots of the problem
Hmm.
because we tend to think that only certain people are supposed to have money. We tend to be conditioned of thinking things like money is bad.
Hmm.
We tend to be conditioned to think that we're not good with money. And so those are a lot of times those are generational things. If you think
Yeah,
about it, what we learn about money, we learn from the people around us,
right.
right? And
Exactly.
so if we are coming from situations where, I came from a mother who she worked her butt off. My mother is a working woman, and I have my father as well, and he worked as well. My mother, I had two different type of parents when it came to money. My
Yes.
mother she worked and she made money, but she was always worried that she would never have enough.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so that was the characteristic that I took on.
Yeah.
And then my father, he worked, and my father was an entrepreneur, so he didn't have a consistent paycheck coming in. He would get paid per project. He worked
Right.
on people's homes, and so he would get his money and he would spend that money up, and he would avoid conversations about money. He would avoid looking at bills and things like that. So I grew up with a combination of them. My mother, she would have the money and she would pay the bills, and she would say, make sure you pay your bills. But it was always this worry. So I took that, and when I would pay, and then I would be worried that there wasn't
Yeah.
enough. So then that would do things like keep me from putting money in my savings,
Yeah.
put me from putting money in my 401k and things like that. And then my father, the avoidant, didn't want to, and that's why I would be like, oh, I don't want to look at that. But
Yeah.
see, I would have never known that. So then when I really got down to the nitty gritty of it, and I started to heal that, what that looks like is I don't mind opening the bill. I'll
Right.
go ahead and open it. I'll put the budget together without the anxiety because I know me being informed about my money puts me in control of my money. My
Yes.
money's not controlling me.
Exactly.
And that was the problem. I was emotionally being controlled by money. So when
Exactly.
I got myself in the driver's seat, what that healing looks like is that I don't worry about money anymore.
Right.
I
Exactly.
don't
Right.
because I'm in such an energy of always being grateful and always having enough. I always have enough, but that took a lot of work,
Yes.
a
A lot.
lot of mental work, a lot of coaching, a lot of self talk, a lot of literally reprogramming my whole outlook when it came to money.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And I really want to know too, just on an individual level, like thinking about if you were just working with an individual client or a small
Mm-hmm.
family. So I know you work, from business to client all the way to corporate style
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
for entrepreneurs. But on a more individual level, what do you think, or what do you think is one small action that someone who's just listening to this could take today to just begin that healing relationship with money, kind of to start that process? What's one step one? What's step one? What do they really need to do first to kind of get going on this journey?
One step I would say is to look at your money story.
Yes.
Look at how you just take a second and sit down and see how you feel about money. Just sit down and think about it. When you think about money, what are the emotions and the thoughts that come up with that?
Right.
Start there.
Okay.
Because then you will start to really start to question like, well, why? Why am I scared to make money?
Yeah.
Why am I scared to take chances with money? Why am I limiting? Why am I so limited when it comes to how I respond to money or how I receive money?
Right.
It starts with you because that's where it started for me. When I really sat down and I was like, okay, I'm learning the thing, but I still feel
Right.
some
Yeah.
and that was where I was like, well, what is it that I feel?
Right.
So I would sit and I would take some, and this is one thing I walk everybody through when I'm working with them. People don't realize how connected your emotions are to your breathing. Take a time and breathe.
Right.
Before you jump into thinking about your finances, breathe. A couple of deep breaths because on a health level, I'm just gonna tap into the nurse here. When you are taking deep breaths, it relaxes the vagus system in your where your brainstem is. And the vagus system is related to emotional responses.
Yes.
So when we are tense, we become anxious and things, but when we able to breathe, we able to relax. And what happens is you can think more clearly.
Yes.
So take a couple of deep breaths. And how I like to do it, I usually tell my clients to breathe in for 4 seconds, hold it for 4 seconds, and let it out for 4 seconds. Just take your time and do that maybe 2, 3 times. Get your piece of paper or a journal and start thinking, how do I really feel about money?
Right.
Does it make me excited? Because it can make you excited. It doesn't always have to
Right.
be this doom and gloom. You know what I'm saying? It can make you
Yeah.
excited. Do you feel anxious? Do you feel nothing?
Or
There's so many
right.
things
Are
that
you
are
ready
tied
to
to
go
that.
shopping right now? Are you impulsive?
Right. Or just what is it? How do you
Yes.
feel about it? And then just sit with that. And just sit with that because if you're in a place where if you're not where you want to be with your money, there's some kind of emotional and mental connection to that. It's
Yes.
not that you're not good with it. It's not that you bad with money or you just do this too much. Everything is tied to something. It's all interlinked together. And
Yes.
so I think that's the part that when we doing different programs, like I've done the Dave Ramsey thing, I've done the I've done all those things. Don't get it
Right.
twisted. Like I never was just like negligent, like I don't care, whatever.
Exactly.
No. Like
Exactly.
I've done the things, but the
Yeah.
things wouldn't really stick because I never connected the mental and the emotional piece. And that's why I would have such a visceral reaction to when I had to do something financial is because I knew I had did things to help me and they weren't doing what I needed it to do. So I would just still feel like, man, I'm just not good with this. And I took it as I was bad with money and I really wasn't.
Right, right. So when we think about, myth busting moments, I mean, that's a really big one for people. You're really not bad with money. It's just your thought process, the deeper thought process behind that. So now when we're thinking more on like myself as an entrepreneur, right? Everything in business, even with yourself, systems, processes. And
Mm-hmm.
even with the craft of being, really rooted in empowering small businesses through that like project management feel, being strategic about how you're laying things out and creating customer journeys. From your perspective in your particular field, how do you specifically help your clients or entrepreneurs or institutions to sort of create money systems that help them to feel sustainable? Like, even when they don't have a lot coming in, what kind of money systems are they essentially building with Divine Wealth Solutions to really give them that
So, no, go ahead, go ahead.
yeah,
I'm
yes.
sorry.
Oh no, it's okay. Just to really give them that confidence, like, okay, I'm really feeling like I'm on the right track. Like, what do you feel is like kind of like that? What money with your money systems? What kind of causes that epiphany moment? I should say for them.
So when I'm working with clients, if they bring me in, there's something going on with the money,
Yeah,
obviously, right?
yes,
So I'm able to what sets me apart from others is I'm able to let's just say okay they come to me and they say you know what we need some work and some coaching to assist us with our budgeting system like we just have not been sticking to budget we've been going over budget whatever right
yes,
and so I will sit down and as a matter of fact this is with a coaching client that I had earlier last year.
Okay.
So me and her talking, and she's like, I just cannot stick to a budget. She's like, I'm trying to figure out what's going on. And then she had got into, I don't know if you remember, like a couple years ago, like everybody, it was all over social media, business credit, right? Get your
Yeah.
business credit, get your business credit, get it. So she had like started doing that journey and she was doing really good. And then she messed up her business credit. So long story short, she was not sticking to the plan because she was paying the business credit late. She wasn't keeping up with that. And she wasn't sticking to the budget. And I had to look at mentally psychology wise, like why? And
Right.
so we kind of dug a little bit deeper. And so the problem was that she didn't like looking at the numbers and they made her nervous because she didn't feel confident that she can handle it. That was one of the things.
Yeah.
And then number two, she kind of like me had anxiety when it came to paying the bills. So that threw off the budget for the business. That threw off the business credit for the business. And what was going on was she wasn't correlating the fact that however you manage your personal finances, it's going to spill over into your business. And so I don't know why sometimes that just doesn't click for us because
Yeah.
to me, it didn't click for me. I just looked at my business as a totally separate entity
Right.
outside of myself. And the
Right.
habits that I had in my business wasn't supposed to
What
be. No, if I'm
like
not handling stuff
you were
over here, yes, 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 yes. If I'm not handling stuff over here, it's not going to look like that over here. And
exactly.
so when we started looking at that, she was like, oh my God. And so we started doing the money psychology work to help her get better in her mindset about those things.
Yeah.
And then we saw improvements not only in her personal finances, but also in her business finances. So that's how I really work with people on that aspect. But that's not the only thing I do. So, like with corporations, I do some financial wellness training with them. And so financial wellness training is a little bit different.
Okay.
Um, it's a benefit that businesses and corporations will bring in for their clients as an employee like assistance type of thing. Because
Got
one
it.
of the biggest factors that people are seeing in the workforce is that the people are bringing their financial stress from home and it's impacting their performance on the job.
Got it.
So we come into this I would say the last, I don't know, 8, 9, maybe 10 years where wellness has become a big thing in the workplace because
Yeah.
it's like, how can we make sure that you are well so that you show up better for us,
Yeah.
right? And so they're bringing in all these different corporations. Before I had this business, I had a wellness business where I went in and I did mindfulness training. So that's also how I kind of got this psychology part because I do
Got
mindfulness as well.
got it.
So they understood that, okay, the financial part affects that too. So I go in and I do some mindfulness training with them around finances and workshops. And then I also do like things, I give them resources for how they can better manage their personal finances for budgets and things like that. So they're less stressed about money, so they
Yeah.
show up better in the workplace.
Yes.
So there's a couple different components. And then with the school systems, I really just tap into financial literacy on a more mundane basis for the kids. But
Okay.
I also know I'm not just doing it from a state of, well, if you pay your credit, I'm actually kind of building those positive affirmations in them about money from a younger age so that they have a positive outlook about money as they're learning about money. So I kind of use a little bit of everything because a part of my coaching is part of them turning the way that they think about money into positive ways. And so it all feeds into how you think about money. I just do it in different ways, dealing with, dealing
Right.
on a client by client basis.
Right. 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 And I really love your approach, and I love the fact that you're a healer at heart, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you started out in the medical field. It's clear that you have a passion about helping people, but to be it,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it is just I'm loving it. I'm just loving
Thank
everything
you.
about your brand. I mean, I would much rather want someone to give me a deeper psychological perspective on the way I think about money. I would put that trust into someone who's already knowledgeable about that, like how you just
Mm-hmm.
explained about the deep breathing. So it just goes to show that you're incorporating some unconventional yet innovative methods to
Mm-hmm.
financial, not coaching, but strategy, wellness, the
Mm-hmm.
way you think about it, feel about it, and how that impacts things overall. So before
Mm-hmm.
we move into the connections portion of this segment, where we'll learn more about who you're looking to connect with, the last question I have for you here is kind of what are the top three mindset blocks that you have noticed that really keep entrepreneurs and like these larger institutions from really achieving their financial success?
I really work when it comes to that level. I really work with more smaller business owners and
Yes.
entrepreneurs. But I'm gonna say that a lot of times the mental block of um, let me see, I just had it on the tip of my imposter syndrome. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Imposter syndrome is a big one. That really blocks people from being where they want to be financially. And I just did a summit yesterday. I was a key speaker and I was talking about this, and it was all entrepreneurs in the chat, and they were just like, oh my God, I gotta make so much sense. But when you don't think that you are capable of doing what you need to do as in this setting as an entrepreneur, it blocks your money because it keeps you from making moves.
Yes.
It keeps you from putting yourself out there. It keeps you from taking the risk. It keeps you from, it's time for you to bring on that extra set of hands. And you like, I don't think I'm ready to do that
Right.
because I'm not there yet. It takes, and what does
Talk,
that do? It stops your money flow.
talk to me, girl. Talk to me.
It stops your money flow. It does. And you don't think about it like that because it's like, you're not gonna get where you want to get unless you do the thing right. But in our minds, we hold ourselves back, and that's where it all starts. It all starts in the mind. What you see in your mind is what you're gonna see in your bank account when it
Right.
comes to this.
Yes.
When it comes to business, what's in your mind is gonna be a reflection of what you see in your bank account. So that's one of the mental blocks I see. I also see um people being afraid. I said this before, but taking the risk
Yeah.
of honestly just pushing themselves to the next level. And a lot of times that becomes people get scared of success.
Right. Right.
And what does that look like? They get scared of being in the leadership role. They get scared of, okay, now everybody's going to be looking to me
Right.
to guide them, to lead them. That's
Exactly.
another thing because, again, then you playing small.
Right.
Another one is that another block that leads to is you not scaling and not pricing your product or your services right either.
Right.
So those blocks will cause several different areas in your business not to move forward. If you don't think that you are worthy, or you don't think that this is really for you, or you don't think that you are capable of, you'll
Yes.
price yourself low.
Yes. Yes. And you and I both
Who?
know people don't
Mm-hmm.
give you what they haven't paid a whole lot for.
Yep. So
Yeah.
then you missing out on money because you don't believe that you are worthy of it. That's a mental block.
Yes. Yes.
So all those things tie in together. And you see the people who are actually, you may be in the same position or doing something your competition, they're where you want to be. And it's because they are in a different mindset.
Exactly.
So
Yes.
while you pricing your coaching program for $50 a month and y'all doing the same thing,
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
she's charging $500 a month.
Exactly.
And it's
Exactly.
literally you have to, and I'm not saying upcharge to if you're not ready, but you have to get out of that mindset that keeps you from saying, you know what, I put in the work, I put in
Yeah.
the time, I know this. And
Yeah.
so a lot of times, in that, I'm gonna get to really where it comes from, the perfectionism.
Yes.
Perfectionism will keep your money stuck. People think that they have to wait until they got it all mastered, they got it all figured out.
Right.
And you be sitting there stuck for 2, 3, 4 years, and
Yes.
you could have been making your money. And then guess what? What that does is when you step out there and you get out of that perfectionism, it does a couple of things. It shows you where you need to work because you'll never know what you need to tweak, what you
Unless
need
you
to
do it.
refine unless you
Yeah.
do it.
Yes.
And then it also helps to build that mastery in you and it builds the confidence.
Okay.
So those blocks, you can see now how, okay,
Yes.
I didn't think about, okay, well, you thinking they separate from each other. And again, the mental is where it starts. And that's where I really start getting to the mental part. Then we can start looking at your money and seeing, okay, well, when we get through that blockbuster, let's see, okay, now that you really see what you are capable of, I want you to challenge yourself in the ways that it was blocking your money. I want you to challenge yourself. So if that means that you've been mentally keeping yourself small, and
Yes.
I give you the project, or I give you some work, a workbook to do to get you out of that small thinking. Let's now see how that's going to correlate to your bank account.
Exactly. Exactly. And I
So,
and I love those roadblocks because those are all so relevant and extremely,
mm-hmm,
extremely prominent, like you say, in our communities.
mm-hmm,
Um, just because think about it. Even I had a realization about money over the past year is that even sometimes when we're spending money, we think we're losing it. We think we're losing that money when really the whole ecosystem is just an exchange. It's an exchange of money. So you're
it's
never just
insane.
putting money out there and it's gone. You just have to figure out once you put it out there that you're putting it into something that's going to bring that return back to you. And I
Because money is
think
currency.
yes,
It's currency. And
yes,
what does currency do? When you think about currency, when you go to a river, that's a current of water that's moving.
yes,
Money literally moves. It
yes,
does not stay still. It is
right.
constantly flowing. And when I understood that, that was like the aha moment.
Yes, for
Because
me
we
too.
tend to think that, okay, I lost this money. You can get it back.
Yes,
What you putting out is going to keep reciprocating to you. So I do these things, I do these mind hacks and these tricks with myself. I talk to my money. When I spend it, I
and now
tell
come
it,
on, Timmy, now come on back
yeah,
home.
you coming back. And thank you for, because it's a tool. I'm
Yeah,
so grateful that I have you to be able to buy these groceries. Thank you for making sure that me and my family are fully sustained.
right.
And thank you for returning to me a thousandfold.
Exactly, exactly.
And I do these things with my money that reprogram my mind, and it tells my money, okay, I need to come back to her and I need to return I need to return on what she put out.
Yes,
And it
I
also
honey,
no,
that
go ahead, hon.
return investment.
Yes, return with investment. But it
Yes,
also gets me out of a rut of where I'm feeling like, oh, I spent that. Oh man, I wish I did. Because that's the other thing. We can either spend too much or we can be little misers and be trying to hold on to it. And that doesn't work either because you're sending a message that you're never going to get it back.
right, right.
What you tell money is what it does. If you have this energy of it's not, I'm not gonna get it back. I'm never gonna have it. You literally will not get it back. You literally will not have enough. That is
Yes,
how it works. But
yeah,
it takes a lot of programming for that because we come from places where a lot of us didn't see money. We
yeah,
saw a lot of struggle. So we've
yeah,
attached money to struggling.
exactly. So we think as long as
Yeah.
you're holding on to the money, we'll be good. And
Mm-hmm.
literally the value of the dollar it goes down so fast it doesn't make any sense. But
Mm-mm.
and one other thing too I wanted to mention since we're talking about money and how it really affects business and how it has affected me is for a while, things are starting to go well with the business, income was flowing in, in abundance, and I'm like, okay, awesome. Like, I really feel like I'm in a position now to bring someone on board. But like you said, every time I would get with someone, I would talk to them, I would get all the way down to the point of, oh, I really like what you're going to have to offer. And I'll get down to putting the contract together and looking at the numbers and looking like, wow, I'll be paying them this much every month. And oh man, and what about all the other? But I'm not really thinking about, yeah, but if you got the right person and you get them in for 1 month and they do all these other activities that you don't have the time to do, now you can focus your time more on high level money generating activities, and they can also to assist to help bring in additional money. So you're compounding
Mhm.
on it that much faster by having more bodies on deck. But at first, my mind was like, no, I better hold on to this because if I need to do that, and it's like, no. Sometimes you may have to take a hit in the beginning, but if you're making a smart move and you're confident in that move, you'll definitely see that return. So I appreciate all of the psychological insights you've had because my brain over here is just going. I'm like, look, girl, I'm gonna call you later. I'm gonna call you after this. Give me a free 30-minute consultation.
Let's get it, girl. But so now you see that, and a lot of times we don't connect that, and
Yeah.
it's just like those aha moments. And now you were like, okay, I see where what if I take that money and allocate it to this,
Yes.
it's going to free me up to make more money over here.
Yes.
But those blocks will keep you from taking those next steps. So we got to work through those. And
Yes.
it sometimes it takes time because again, we've been conditioned years, and
Yes.
then the stuff on the TV and the stuff on the news.
Yes.
Listen, I don't watch any of it.
Right.
I take it by like this much and then I'm
Exactly.
out of there
Exactly.
because I understand how impressionable our minds can be. If
Yeah.
I watch that stuff too long, then I begin to worry.
Exactly. Then you start to think about, yes, to start.
Oh man. When no, and the thing about money too is it's still it's a cyclic. It goes in cycles too.
Yes.
You may be having a hard time and then it kind of comes down. But if you keep the same mindset
Yes.
and you keep moving in the right direction, it's going to come back. Just
Yes.
like we're talking about, oh, we're in a recession, da 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 da. How many times does that happen?
Exactly.
And it bounced back. You just
Yeah.
got to know how to maneuver and you got to know how to move and not get in the mindset of being stuck. It's
Exactly.
called pivot. You got to pivot. You know
Yes.
what I'm saying? So yeah, that's a big thing, but people don't really correlate it because, like I say, I don't know if I said that, but I also do financial literacy. I'm an educator, and why I like that, I love financial literacy because it is a skill that everybody needs.
Yeah.
The one component that's missing is the mental part, and the psychological part is
Yes.
missing.
Yes.
You put those two together, anything financially can hit you. If you mentally okay here,
Yes.
okay, you good.
Yes. Yes.
You good. And if something
It's
does
divine.
happen, you know you can recover from it.
Yes. Yes.
You're gonna be all
Exactly.
right. You're
Yes.
gonna be all right.
Yes. Everything
So
happen in its divine time, and its divine
yep.
and divine order with divine wealth solutions. I'm
Yes.
here to tell y'all better get with Stacie. Okay, I'm telling this is so insightful, and it's so impactful because even like for business owners that go out there, they get the money, and like you were saying, now what? I have all this money. Now what? You can spend it real fast, or you can make those strategic moves to double and triple and quadruple that money. So and we could talk about money all day. I mean, because
Yes.
it's money is an ongoing issue in this country, apparently.
In the world.
Oh
You need it
yeah,
everywhere you go. So
yeah. So now I'm thinking about you and your strategy and how you're looking at ways of taking risk and putting yourself out there. Tell me, who at this point would you consider to be like a dream client, or who's out there that you're like, listen, we could make some true magic together. I really want to collaborate with these people. I really want to get my feet over here. Let us know who
Mhm.
you're looking to connect with.
I'm gonna tell you something. I really want to work with women. Well, my niche is working with women.
Yeah.
Like I'm straight up, I work with women just out there. I find it easier to flow with women when it comes to stuff like this. And also women are underserviced when it comes to this information. They just are, right?
Yes.
And so I love working with newer and kind of mid-range entrepreneurs. Those are my kind of dream clients because I'm catching them at that point right where it's so critical in a business to thrive. If you think about it, the biggest issues with new businesses is money.
Yes.
So let me get you right with your mindset in the beginning so you have a better opportunity to succeed in your business.
Yes.
So those are my dream clients. Enthusiastic, ready to get to work, want to get it done, and have a long-term goal. Those are who people I really want to work with. And I'm gonna tell you somebody, I don't know, everybody in the city knows her. Everybody in the city knows her.
Yes.
Gail Perry Mason. Do you know Gail?
Yes, I've heard. I've heard.
Okay. I would love to do something with her. I have been even when I wasn't in finance as a kid, like I saw things that she did around the city with kids. And
Yes.
I was like in high school ish. And I just always thought, wow, like we didn't see women of color that did things with money.
Right.
So I don't know, that may have been like a kind of a forementioning as a kid seeing her, like, oh, you gonna be doing what she doing later on. I had no clue. And so I've just followed her through the years because I just admired one, she's so classy. I think she's just a classy lady. I just think she's classy. And two, I love the passion that she has for educating people in our community about money. And I just love that. And I would definitely love to work with her. So yeah, those are my
Awesome.
yeah,
Yes. Yes.
yeah.
Well, Gail, if you are out there, please tuning in if you
Put
happen
it
to scroll
plug,
by.
drop the plug.
Yes, somebody, please. Now,
Yeah.
you have any, because I know people are eager to connect with you. So do you
Mhm.
have any special workshops or events or promos that you want to put out there?
So I just finished up the Unshakable Wealth Summit. That was all this week, and it's still the last recording is today. However, the link is still available to be able to watch that workshop. I believe until next Friday. I believe yes,
Awesome.
tonight. And so that's a great summit. There were financial experts in all different areas of finance all across the world, people in Belgium, Europe, I mean, just all over the place. So that was really awesome, very diverse. So
Yes.
that's somewhere that you can catch me. I was doing that this week, and this is my second year with them, and it's been a blast of an experience. You can get tons of free tips and tools and stuff about investing, all kinds of stuff, and it's really geared towards entrepreneurs as well. So
Yes.
it's a great place, I would say, to check me out there. And then I also have manifesting wealth with your sixth sense. That's coming up May 12th through the 16th. And these are all virtual summits, so you can catch them online. They're pre-recorded. There's about, I don't know, maybe 25 financial experts that are giving workshops there. So I have like a good 20-minute workshop that I'll be doing with them.
Okay.
And then I also will be doing workshops quarterly here locally in Pontiac, well, Waterford at the Women in Business Center on Huron. I'm
Okay.
gonna be doing that. And then I got some things in the works with a couple of things with Oakland Thrive. I got some things in the works with them. The dates have not been solidified yet, so I can definitely keep you posted there.
Okay.
And I'm
Sounds
kind of working with some nonprofits too, so I'm getting out there.
yes, please, girl, keep kind of doing it. Please keep doing it. Yes, because we need you. I mean, this service is more than needed. So, all praises for the experience and the journey that you've had
Mm-hmm.
thus far to equip you to be in this space. We finally just want to give you the opportunity to share with the best way that listeners can find you, the best way they can connect with you, and really start to begin that process with you to start their financial transformation journey.
Okay. So I am mid social media. Like I'm on social media, but I'm not on social media. I'm at that age where I'm like, I gotta be on there, but life be life, and I don't really be on there. But you can find me at Stacie Ford on Facebook. You can also find me on LinkedIn, Stacie A Ford on LinkedIn. I'm there as well. I'm on TikTok, starting to do that. Pray for me, y'all. And my TikTok handle is the Divine Millionaire on TikTok. I'm also on Instagram as the Divine Millionaire as well. And you can, if you'd like to schedule a consultation with me, a free consultation, my website is www.divinewealthsolutions.net. And I have a link there, a Calendly. You can just schedule and I'll meet with you and we can talk about how we can work together.
Okay, awesome. Well, you guys, hey, you have it. If you are in a position where you're feeling like you are a prisoner to your own finances or a prisoner to your thought processes and the way that you view money, and you're really trying to have that breakthrough moment, that epiphany, that aha moment that sort of Stacie and I have described throughout this podcast, definitely don't hesitate to reach out to her, guys. There is no better time now to start to get that money together. And, here on Small Business Radio Detroit, sponsored by the Small Business Nation, they have tons and tons of resources and direct access to funding solutions for your small business. So if it's credit that's holding you up, if it's just those imposter syndrome, mental blocks that's keeping you held back, get with Stacie, have her get you ready and revved up, connect with the Small Business Nation, and let's get this train rolling and start looking at some options for some funding. Okay, we gotta sustain. In these tough times, we really have to sustain. So please, guys, we welcome you to the small business community. And then we also, of course, invite you to connect with Stacie to really start to get that money mastery and create your money mastery system. So thank you so much again for coming on, Stacie. I can't
Thank
wait
you.
to tune in with you soon and get some more expert financial and strategic advice. So thank you so much, listeners. We'll catch up with you next time.
Thank you.